Okay, here are my top issues with indicators. So, get too many of them. Typically, your platform is going to start freezing and make it impossible to trade. And at the same time, you don't want it like cluttering the entire platform. But what about in terms of harmonics patterns? So, I like using harmonics. I like doing them on my own. It gives me a better idea of what's happening, and I can project things much sooner versus okay, I have a couple of harmonics indicators that I used to use, but let me see. I think I have actually three. Okay, there's this one here. Look at that. It's just way too much going on. I mean, it shows you some stuff, but it gets to a point. Okay, you see everything from the past, but you don't see what's going on right now. Get what I'm saying? So, I mean, you kind of get this situation, but yeah, it's already happened. And you may have one here, but at the same time, you question, is it actually valid? But it's not always going to give you the pattern when it's actually happening. It normally shows up when it's already too late. And that's not what I'm actually looking for in in the harmonics. I want to actually be able to project these things on my own. So you could probably use this as a way to kind of learn maybe, but it's best to actually try to learn on your own. Like I'm typically using Fibonacci's. I mean, you can tell that that's what this one is actually kind of using in a way. But at the same time, I also kind of question the accuracy as well. But I can't say honestly that it has been reliable. In the sense, it is working right now. It is showing a nice downtrend, but it isn't always consistent. But it's not to say even if you do it on your own, it's always consistent. But even still, there's just too much clutter on the screen, and it's much easier to do it on your own. And then with other harmonics patterns, like notice how it's still searching for a pattern. We found a pattern on the other tool, but you definitely don't see it now. I definitely found a harmonic on my own, but it for sure isn't showing up on that tool. That's the case with it. I mean, this one is, I actually like it. It's a pretty cool tool. Let me see if I can find it. I'll show you an example elsewhere if there's a harmonic that shows up on another chart. Okay, we found one on Euro USD. It looks like it found a lot of stuff actually. So, yeah, too much going on. It's can barely tell what kind of pattern that is. But apparently that's a harmonic. Or I just have another pattern that I need to learn. That could be it. But yeah, it does a good job at scanning sometimes, but it is not always there. That's pretty much where I'm at with this one. I have that other one, and then I have one more that you can only really use on a 4 hour, and that's like on the occasion. And I want to be able to spot all the harmonics honestly on my own. It's better than being able to, well, have it after the move. I want to see if there is a potential move for the future, which is what I'm trying to get. Okay, let me show an example of what I actually mean. Let me go back to UJ. Actually, let's just pretend that there's nothing there at all. Well, okay. My thing is, I want to be able to project the future sometimes. It's not to say that it's always going to happen, because sometimes patterns don't go as planned. You can't always like project the future. It is typically better to go off of the delay. But that's why I want to do it on my own. I want to be able to do it on my own, so I won't have to actually be dependent on the tools. And then on top of that, the tools are just messing everything up for me, man. Why do I want to depend on a tool when I can actually memorize it, look at it, and just do it myself, man? I mean, tools are tools. Tools lag. All indicators lag, even the harmonics scanners. Just do it yourself. And when you do it yourself, you make your life so much easier. Like, just trust me on that. And that goes for like trend line indicators and all that as well. Like, I've used all the indicators, trend line indicators, you name it. They're not for me. I like to do everything on my own because it's much smarter than take my trading into my own hands. You get me? Like, I'm looking at it now. I'm gonna take some of this. It's weird. So, I thought I had another indicator. I mean, well, I had a trend line indicator that I was going to show you guys as well. Pretty much it automatically marks your trend lines. So that was my own laziness from 6 years ago, I believe. Yeah, I used one of those. I thought it was good, but it wasn't consistent enough, and I didn't really fully understand what I had. But at the same time, even if I used it now, it's just utterly pointless to actually use, and it's tends to be so late in the game if you start to use those type of tools. There are only so few tools that I'd really even use, like minimal, the RSI, that or TDI. Only type of tools that I actually like. And so as far as indicators are concerned, to me they're a waste of time. People can use them, but understand it's a tool and it's not meant to be depended on as a legit trading strategy. If someone is trying to sell you on that type of tool, you're just fooling yourself and wasting your money. Learn to trade, and learn to trade without the tools, unless it's like fibs and stuff like that, like the tools that are already on the platform. You don't need to waste your money on indicators.